We're just ordinary people living ordinary lives until we see someone on TV win a $25,000 prize. Come on down. I'll play any game for 10 seconds of fame. Come on down. I'll make a deal, just let me spin the wheel. Come on down. To win $1 million, all you need is a little luck and thorough knowledge of multiple disparate trivial subjects.
All right, welcome back to an all-new episode of Come On Down, the Game Show podcast. I'm here with my main man, Jonathan Motney.
And I'm here with my big bro and little bro at the same time, John Baker.
All right, I can't do that for more than 30 seconds.
I could do an entire podcast.
Really?
Oh, for sure.
All right, next time. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about some of the serious issues facing our country today. Socialism.
Love.
Illegal immigration.
Right. Borders. The Borders, the actual company.
The bookstore.
The bookstore.
Yes.
Why did it go out of business? What happened to it?
Yeah, why Barnes & Noble?
Because... Oh, why Barnes & Noble?
Well, yeah, why'd they survive and Borders couldn't?
I think that Barnes & Noble was more recognizable because when people brought up the Borders, they strayed from that.
They're like, "Ooh, I don't want to talk about the Borders.
I don't want to talk about Borders.
That's not proper office conversation."
Yeah, I don't care where you get.
Talk to your uncle at Thanksgiving.
I'm not going to ask you why you keep going to the border to get and you bring back books. I don't understand how that works.
Same thing with Best Buy and Circuit City, right? Kind of two of the same stores, and one of them just is still going, and one of them disappeared.
Hey, man, the economy's a funny thing.
Hey, and that's what we're going to talk about today: the economy of love.
Ooh.
But
question for you.
Yeah.
How come you never tell me you love me?
I try to tell you every chance I get.
Why do guys not say, I love you?
That's what we're going to be diving into today.
Okay, good. Yeah. The serious issues.
Yeah. So before we get into all the love, we do have a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they love paying the bills, you know.
They love paying our bills.
So in exchange for money, we give them our love.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
So we're kind of whores.
Oh, we're very much whores,
Okay.
just to be clear. Not
Cool.
kind of. So yeah. You know what I really miss?
What's that?
The good old days.
This is one hell of a coincidence then, because our sponsor today, Flash Into the Past, can help you relive those days.
You mean it? So I can go back to... I don't know how I'm supposed to deliver that line. Is it a question mark instead of an exclamation? You mean it?
No, just read it with an exclamation point.
You mean it? So can I go back to that time when I held onto your car while riding a skateboard, fell off, and nearly died?
Yep.
And that time you, me, and Jeremy unknowingly sat in the drill team section at a high school football game as grown men 5 years removed from high school age? Mm-hmm. What about that time I made everyone wait in the TGI Fridays parking lot while I destroyed one of the bathroom stalls with a hot, steamy caca-poo-poo?
You seem to want to relive very specific memories.
So how does it work?
First, you submit a very detailed recollection of your memory. Their team scripts out your reliving of the memory with sounds, smells, and tastes that correlate with your recollection. You slap on the VR goggles, and everything from that experience comes rushing back.
Very cool.
Come On Down listeners will receive a free consultation when they use the code Come On Down Memory Lane at their website, www.flashintothepast.com.
Flash into the past. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, and forever.
Oh, whoa.
Well, it's crazy. All of those things that they put in the script
I know.
are actual things that happened to us.
Isn't that weird?
I do remember that hot, steamy caca-poo-poo at TGI Fridays.
That was, I think, the same exact night.
That we got a Frisbee stuck on top of the 99 cents only store.
That's the same night?
Uh-huh.
But I think, wasn't it also the same night that you played Bright Eyes?
Yes, so that was the week that Bright Eyes released I'm Wide Awake It's Morning and Digital Ash in a Digital Urn. And Jeremy, our friend, and I drove to the record store, like CD World or whatever.
Yep.
And picked it up and kind of drove around listening to it, and we're like, wow, this is
You were like, this is so
fucking awesome.
We're going to a birthday party, and it's going to be a really, 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 really nice time.
Close.
And they're dying. They're dying.
They are dying. Yes, they're crashing in a plane. So yeah, wow, love to relive those memories. Thank you to Flash into the Past. Flashintothe.com, which I'm kind of interested to see what's on that website.
Yeah, I'll check it out while you start.
So today, we're going to be talking about one of the most important things in the world.
Nope, I would say no. Oh, you mean
Game
love.
shows.
Oh. Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah,
what the podcast is all about.
Dude, we're vibing on the same exact level.
Today, we're talking about Love Connection.
Which is, if you're not familiar, one of the worst shows that ever aired.
We usually do that at the end.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
That ever aired for 2,120 episodes, by the way.
Holy shit.
You're struggling to spell flashintothe.past.com.
My brain doesn't work on two different things at the same time. Chill out, dude.
You're like a woman.
That's something I would hear in the show Love Connection.
You're like a woman.
You're like a
hey,
woman.
It's available. All right. Anyway, so this show, Love Connection, it aired, I believe, entirely in syndication from 1983 to 1994. Like I mentioned, 2,100.
This was in 83?
83 to 94.
I 100% thought this was in the 70s or 60s.
Oh, no. Didn't start until 83.
Oh, no.
Like I said, 2120 episodes, which is a lot because that's basically 200 episodes a year over that time frame. This was one of the daily syndicated, like, every day you're getting your Love Connections.
So they're busting out like 10 of these suckers every time they're filming.
Yeah, probably like 4 or 5, I would guess.
Oh my gosh.
So this was hosted by Chuck Woolery. And
great name.
We've mentioned Chuck Woolery on the program before because we've done an episode on Wheel of Fortune. He was the original host of Wheel of Fortune.
Was it when there was a
shopping section
yeah, okay.
and all that stuff? Yeah. So from 1976 to 81, I think, he was the host of Wheel of Fortune. And then he wanted more money. And they said, let's get this Pat Sajak guy instead.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that job anymore. He's most known, I think, as a game show host, though. Like I said, he hosted Wheel of Fortune. He hosted Love Connection. He hosted Scrabble, a Scrabble game show.
He would just come over to people's houses
and just narrate
in.
what was happening in their Scrabble games. And then even into like the 2000s, he would host game shows here and there, like as the Game Show Network was burgeoning and everybody was trying to ride on the coattails of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire phenomena.
Dude, he priced himself out of the market. They were like, we can afford Chuck Woolery for about 2 episodes.
Yeah, and then we got to bring in Pat Sajak.
And then
the pinch hit.
It's a Batman Robin situation.
Yeah, so I looked more into Chuck Woolery just because seems like an interesting guy. He knows what he's worth, and it's more than Wheel of Fortune was willing to pay him in 1981.
Yeah.
He previously was like a country singer before getting into the television.
And we'll play some clips of him singing right here.
No.
Okay.
Because of copyright strikes, we don't want to.
Dude, we can do 15 seconds of it.
Okay. Howdy, y'all. It's Chuck Woolery. Truck pickup. That was it. That was one of his top songs. He wasn't very successful as a country singer.
Yeah, and also that was the entire song.
That's why he wasn't very successful. He had a couple ideas, and then that was
he was ahead of his time because, in about 100 years, songs are going to be maybe 20 seconds long.
Aren't Lil Nas X songs already that?
I don't know. Are they?
I don't know. I only know the Old Town Road one.
Right.
Which sounds like a joke song that I would have made as a joke and became incredibly popular. So I'm so unhip.
That's fine.
The kids,
I mean, it just happens,
The kids are not going to be happy with that. So Chuck Woolery was married 4 times.
To the same woman?
No.
Oh.
4 different.
Got it.
He kept trading up when he hit the maximum mileage. You would trade her in for a new model. And according to his Wikipedia page, he has at least 5 children. I thought that was really funny.
How do you even?
I wanted to highlight it.
How do you even say that?
So four wives and at least 5 children.
I guess that's more appropriate to say than I fucked a lot.
And at least one of them is dead. Was also mentioned on there.
Oh,
Yeah. So how do you feel now? How do you feel about your jokes, your funny ha-has now?
so does that? So he said I have at least 5 children.
Yeah, it was in an interview with National Geographic, and they were like, "Oh, so tell us about your family." He said, "Well, I have at least 5 children. Who knows after that?"
So how many kids do you have, Chuck? Define kids.
I fuck a lot, and condoms do not provide the same sensation. That was
Chuck, a real man's man.
that was in an interview with Church Camp Weekly.
Church Camp Weekly.
Yeah, do you subscribe?
What are some of the things that are in that magazine?
Church camp reviews mostly.
Okay. So I think there's like 5 different types of major church camps. So is it five?
You'd be surprised at how many church camps there are. You'd be surprised. Our friend Fran
Name 2.
named 2
Yeah.
church camps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't subscribe.
Pine Cove.
Okay, you did it.
I only did 1.
Pine and Cove. Our friend Fran, it was his aspiration in life to open up a church camp
Mm-hmm.
because he said, think of the tax breaks you would get.
And also, he had the amazing foresight and deep business knowledge to know that it's not really a church camp.
It's sex
It's
education.
sex
camp.
education.
I don't know. I never went to church camp and I never had sex.
They were really fun. They were really fun.
How much sex did you have?
Oh, 0 of the
Okay.
sex.
All right.
There was a point when me and my friend, we were in like 7th grade,
Uh-huh.
and there were 2 girls that we both kind of liked, and they sat
Nice.
behind us in the bus ride there. Do you
Nice.
remember the adrenaline rush of bus rides as a child?
No, not really.
You had like freedom. There was like the politics that was happening.
About where you're sitting, it was kind of
Yeah.
like Rosa Parks.
Correct. Yep. It was like that. It was exactly like
So
Rosa
were they
Parks.
sitting behind you because they were black girls?
Nope, they were not.
Okay.
So we were talking to them, and they were like, of course, it got on the topic of kissing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like, "Have you guys kissed anybody?" And we were like, "No, not yet."
Uh-huh.
And they're like, "We can be your first kisses at camp if you want."
Whoa, sluts!
And I ruined it because I could
I'm surprised. I'm so
just
surprised.
like calm the
You
fuck
couldn't be
down.
cool about that.
Not at all.
So when are we
dude.
gonna kiss? Where do you think the kissing location?
I wouldn't
will
stop
be?
talking about it. I
So when
probably
we
made them
kissed-
so uncomfortable, and I ruined it. I don't think he got the kiss either. So
Wow, you're cock blocked.
Yeah.
You kiss blocked. Hardcore.
I kiss blocked.
You hardcore kiss block. One time, I went to 8th grade field trip to Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
to see the stuff in Washington D.C.
Right.
Like try and find the map on the back of the Declaration of Independence or
And
whatever.
you're trying to go see a Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, just see what she's up to.
Yeah.
And there was this game that was like a game amongst the youth of
Okay.
it was called Nervous,
Oh god.
and you would touch somebody and then say, "Are you nervous?" And then and then if they said no, you would like move your hands closer to their private parts. And I remember like on the bus there was this girl, and we were playing the Nervous game. And let me tell you, she did not get nervous.
But did you?
I was very nervous. I was very nervous, and I'd be like, "Are you nervous?" And she's like, "No." And then I'd move my hand 1/2 of a millimeter. Like, are you nervous? And then all of a sudden, my hands are inside of her pants, and she's like, "No, I don't get nervous." And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't get nervous.
What is happening?"
Oh my god. I don't.
Yeah, that didn't happen at church or anything, but I don't know what God would think about that.
I mean, God probably was like, Yeah, this bitch doesn't get nervous. You're screwed, dude.
Yeah, man, you got to go for it. You got to fuck her on the bus now. So that was a love connection. So Chuck Woolery, last year, I want to get this podcast taken off of YouTube. He tweeted some stuff about the COVID-19 pandemic in regards to it being what was it, a Democrat hoax.
Okay.
And then our president at the time, whoever that guy was, he retweeted it. Retweeted Chuck Woolery. And then 2 days later, Chuck Woolery announced that his son was in the hospital with COVID-19.
Oh, no.
And he got better. He wasn't the
Chuck
one who
got
died.
better?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, the son. And so then he, I don't know if he like apologized or what for what he had said 2 days prior.
I mean, you have to.
Or his son was just in on the hoax.
Or you you double down and you're like, yeah, you know what I did see? I saw him watching parts of the DNC, and through the television, some of the COVID came through the speakers actually, and that's how he got it.
That makes sense.
So yes, he got COVID-19.
That was kind of the plot of Wonder Woman 1984, by the way. I don't know if you saw that one.
No.
Don't.
That was it? Mind control through TVs?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was wish granting through TVs.
Okay. So it was Make-A-Wish, but...
Yeah, it was only for kids with cancer. And on Love Connection, Chuck Woolery, that's where he created his famous catchphrase that you know.
Are you nervous?
It was, "We'll be back in 2 and 2."
2 minutes of commercials?
And 2 seconds.
Oh.
2 minutes and 2 seconds. Apparently that was the standard time of a commercial break because it was 2 minutes for commercials and 2 seconds for fade-ins and fade-outs.
Got it.
And so that was something that he took to like every freaking show that he did after that. We'll be back in 2 and 2 when it went to commercial break.
Even if the commercial break was at 2 minutes and 2 seconds?
Yeah, he would just straight up lie to you. He was known as being a big liar.
Chuck Woolery has been sued over 700 times.
At least. So, Love Connection.
What if he has 6 kids and he just hates one?
So he just says at least 5 all the
And
time.
I want you to feel how much I hate you every time I'm interviewed.
That kid knows which one he's talking about. The way that Love Connection worked was there were like 2 contestants per episode. And they had, quote, a videotape library of more than 1,000 single and attractive people.
Whoa.
And they would present the contestant before the show, not on TV or any shit like that.
Right.
They would present the contestant with 3 of those videotapes from their library of 1,000 single and attractive people. And it's not the kind of videotapes of 1,000 single and attractive people that you're interested in.
Right, correct.
They're just regular talking head interview type things. And I guess they also have like a profile on the person that, you know, they fill out some information about you or whatever. And based on those 3 videos, the contestant chooses which one they want to go on a date with. And now back in the game show, the contestant is introduced after having already chosen one of these people to go on a date and having gone on the date with them. We don't know who they chose at this point, though.
We do not.
And so here's where the fun part comes in.
Before you go in, are you about to talk about they play clips?
Yes.
Okay. I have 3 quotes I'd like to talk about, so just whenever.
Thank you. Okay. So they bring them out, and then they introduce us to the contestant, kind of a little bit about them. And then they show clips from each of the 3 potential suitors.
Yes.
And they show those clips, and then the weird part of the show, in my opinion.
I think it already happened.
Okay, there's a lot of weird parts.
Yeah.
But one of the weirder parts of the show, in terms of them forcing this into being somewhat of a game show, is once they show those three, the audience, the studio audience, then votes on who they think would be a good match for this person, who they think is the best match for this person of those three people, of the 20-second clips of those three people and the 45-second introduction of the one person here, which one the audience thinks would be the best match.
Right.
And in those videos, this is a transition to you.
Some of the fun things that I wrote down. This was from just one episode.
Okay.
They were introducing, the contestant was a man. They were introducing three different women. And I'm going to read the 3 quotes that I wrote down from either women. First one.
So one per woman.
One per woman.
Okay, thank you.
I hate being as big as I am. I would love to be 110 pounds, but it's not going to be so. I try and stay at a certain level, above or below 5 pounds, so I never get too big.
Okay.
Next. Men don't know how to handle their feelings. I like how guys change it around when they do something wrong and they dump it on you like it's your fault. Next. First thing I notice is a great smile. Also, a man that asks me a lot of questions. I like a man that's real interested. Which one do you think he chose?
I would go with 3 personally.
Yeah. Because the first one talked about her weight the whole time. The second one doesn't like men.
Right.
And the third one seemed like a normal person.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty easy choice to me. But what did the audience
I want to
say?
see the rest of those videos. Like,
Right.
I'm wondering if they were just like, oh, this is a weird thing. Let's pull this out.
Yeah.
Let's make this
Or
person
like,
look weird.
This is the best. This is the most normal thing they said. What if it was
Yeah,
that?
it's
They're
true.
like, yeah, I guess the bit where she's talking about her being fat is better than the part where she talks about how she comes from a secret alien race that has colonized the earth. Yeah, so the audience votes. We don't get a reveal of the audience vote, but then
Not yet.
Not yet. But then the contestant reveals who they chose.
Mm-hmm.
Once they do that, now that person is like backstage on a camera, kind of like
Similar to Maury.
I was about to say like Maury, exactly what I was gonna say. And the person sitting on the couch with Chuck and the person on the camera in the back are like simultaneously interviewed about the date and how did the date go.
That already happened.
Right. And what did you do?
And they
on
were
this
stressed
date?
not to talk to each other after the date ended.
That's correct. Between the end of the date and this taping, they were not allowed to talk to each other.
And it was weird because it was a 6-month break between the date and this.
Like, all right, so do you want a second date? I'm married now. I have at least 5 children with my wife.
You know who you are, Mr. 6.
Yeah, so they're not supposed to talk to each other at all. And so they discuss the date, I guess, for the first time now.
Weird.
And we get to hear all about what they did on their date. Like I watched one episode where it was this guy who'd been divorced 3 times. I don't know at least how many children he had, but and a woman who had been divorced once, I think. So they're both familiar with what bad marriages are like. And they talked about, so what was your date? What did you do? And the guy said, well, I wanted to book a weekend in Palm Springs. To be clear, for the first time meeting.
Yeah. Worse than going to the state fair, by the way. Way worse.
And so she apparently couldn't get off work for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
So then she suggested that they go on a date to this like nudist colony. So they did.
Wow.
They went to like a nudist retreat or a nudist camp. They kept calling it a nudist camp, or at least Chuck Woolery did.
So it's like church camp.
It was just like church camp, exactly.
Okay.
So they went to a nudist camp, and this was the only one that I saw, at least. There were 2,120 of these, so who knows what happened in some of the other episodes. But this was the only one that I saw where it got intimate, like the discussion. Well,
they were naked.
Well, first of all, one of the first main things when he introduced himself was that he likes like the two things that he likes in a woman are like a good smile or like a happy personality or something like that, and a great butt.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, what do you want in a woman?
Yeah.
Great smile and some nice titties.
Yeah. And Chuck Lorre was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, I mean, like some guys like breasts, I like butts.
I cannot be more clear
Yeah.
than what I just said to you.
Yeah. So and then
And I want at least two cheeks on a butt.
and then they were like, he was like, so why did you pick Catherine? And he's like, well, it wasn't in the video here, but also in her profile, she said that she liked butts.
But why would it matter if she likes?
I don't know. Maybe
he knows he has a good butt.
Maybe he thought that meant like, oh well, if she is into butts, maybe that means she has a good butt too. Maybe she wants people to be into butts.
Okay.
And so it was like, so tell us about your date. And like immediately he's like, yeah. So we went to the nudist camp, and then I booked a hotel down by the beach because you don't know where this is going to go at this point. And then so we went to the hotel. We were in the hotel room for a couple hours, and then we went out and we got dinner, and then we came back to the hotel and we were in the hotel room for another couple hours. I'm like, Chuck Lorre is like, okay.
We'll be back in a 2 and 4 because I need 2 seconds to calm down.
Yeah. So like I said, that it got without getting too specific into the details, he made it quite clear what was going on this date, and I respect him for it, and I respect her for it.
I initially thought, whoa, that's forward that this guy booked a hotel. But if your first date, and your first date is at a nudist camp, not that forward.
Maybe still a little forward.
I don't think so. If you are going to a nudist camp and you are comfortable with your assets, it's probably going to lead to 2 hours in a hotel room.
But like you can look, but you can't touch. If you touch it,
But that's what I'm saying.
Start some drama.
When you get the hotel room, that's when the touching starts.
No drama.
I don't want drama either. I just want to fuck. Why do you keep singing about drama?
I don't know. Ask Fergie. So yeah, that was funny. There was another one, and again, this is the 80s. This is a different time.
Not that different.
I noticed that sometimes there were people of different races on the show as contestants, which I applaud them for their.
This is your realization. This show was your realization that there are different races in the world.
Yeah,
this is your first time
I was
seeing
like,
it.
Holy shit! And did I tell you when I was a young boy? My grandma took me to the mall, and I'm white,
right?
And so is my family,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like pretty young. I didn't know that many people.
You didn't do a reverse blindside situation.
No. So this was like before I was in school or anything. And my grandma took me to the mall, and there was a black woman at the mall, like walking through the. I don't know, what do you call it? A hallway? And what's that area of the mall called? The non-story area.
The mezzanine.
The mezzanine. I think that's only upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, walking through the mall.
Right.
And I think my grandma was like pushing me in a stroller or whatever, and I yelled, "Look, Grandma, Oprah!"
But hold on, follow-up question.
And it was Oprah.
Oh my god,
it was Oprah. There she was.
That could have been
shopping
very
at the Roosevelt Field Mall.
That could have been very inappropriate if it wasn't Oprah.
No, it turns out it wasn't. It was not Oprah on further reflection. But anyway,
did your grandma like get really excited? She like didn't see it first, and she's like,
"What? Oh,
oh no."
He's just racist.
Sorry.
And so then she was excited about that. So there are some people of different races on here, and I tended to notice that all of their potential matches were always the same race as them.
Wow.
Like I didn't see any white contestants that had Asian people popping up.
And they didn't get to choose these, right? The show chose which 3 profiles to send to them. Oh, no.
And, there's black people, and there's always black people that they were matched with. I don't know that we were ready yet to talk about a black and a white person going to a nudist camp together. So we just hadn't gotten to that point in our country yet. These are the Reagan years, remember?
Right.
So yeah, now that would be, I think, problematic. But then it would be problematic the other way. Like now, if you had a white contestant and you didn't only show them black people to match with, you'd get canceled. But then if you
then the white contestant's like, I don't know how to ask this.
Is it racist for me to ask? Is that Oprah?
Where do white people at?
Yeah, and so, but then I feel like you would probably be canceled if you tried to match a black person with a white person.
I would say you can't win.
Right.
You can't win.
Yeah. Well, you could kind of learn
You know where you can win?
on Love Connection.
On Oprah's show.
Oh, I wish she still had a show.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so I thought that part was a little bit awkward.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit awkward.
Oh yeah, that was only a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
Well, luckily the rest of the show was not awkward at all.
So after we hear about the date, they kind of tell us, how the date went and things like that. And so like the nudist camp date and hotel sounds like it went well. Sounds like a good date. That was not always true, and maybe not even often true.
I'm glad you said that, because on one of the episodes I watched, the woman was asked, "What were your first impressions of whatever his name was?"
Shorter than I thought.
She said fat and 40.
Oh no.
Fat and 40.
The weird thing was she was 53 and weighed 423 pounds.
Apparently the date went like this. He took her to his family's restaurant, had dinner with his nephew.
Ooh.
It was him, his nephew, and this girl. They talked about family affairs the entire time. Somebody had recently bought a racehorse that they talked about.
Ooh.
And then he took her back to his place, which she described as just a very stereotypical area in California where recently divorced men go to live. And she said that he called her a great kid, but he was looking for someone that was more of a woman.
Ooh. So neither of them liked each other, at least.
They went on a second date.
What?
No.
I was like, holy shit. Because so you go on the date, you talk about the date on the show, and then they reveal the ever important
Yes.
audience vote.
Okay, and this comes into play how?
Minorly. So the way that the audience vote comes into play is if you chose the same person the audience thought you should choose based on all the information they had, which was a lot.
Which was 12 seconds.
Then you could get, so the show paid for your first date.
Okay, great.
That if you chose the same person, you could go on a second date at the show's expense as well.
Okay.
But if the audience chose a different person than you did, you could say, "Oh, do you want to go with the audience's love connection and get a second date with that person on the house?"
No, because I didn't pick that person first time.
Hey man, it's a free date. Who doesn't want a free cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if like you had a good date and the audience chose somebody else, they would be like, "All right, do you want to stick with Karen, or do you want to maybe go with Marianne on a second date for free?"
You're an idiot if you choose the other side. First of all, first dates are so hard and sometimes void of depth. You've already crossed that barrier with the first person and you're able to move on from that situation. Try go on the second date. That's when stuff starts to get heavy. You start talking about politics and dreams and nightmares, and stuff that happened to you when you were a kid.
So your advice to all the kids out there, all the single people out there,
Yeah.
is just settle because it's easier.
No, not settle.
Just settle because that's what you said.
You've
That's what you said
already
you did, I think.
experienced a connection with this person and it was good. Why not foster that and see where it goes? Have a cookie eating contest on your third date. See where it goes.
All right, yeah, I guess that's fair. And then the last segment of the show.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
Okay.
Because why not? Is a previous contestant returns and tells us about a second date that they had, whether that be with the same person they went on a first date with,
Yeah.
or if they were like, all right, fuck it, I guess I'll just go with what the audience said. The first one, I can't pick them, it turns out, so I'll go with what the audience said.
I don't trust my own intuition.
So they'll talk about how their second date went, or this second date went.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no audience involvement there because it's already done. It's already over. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
I don't know. I just don't get the audience thing in general, I guess. The audience vote.
I think what happened is the producers were like, we have too much cash. We got to give it away to pay for these dates. How do we get them another date on top of this already?
How do we give them
one?
another $100?
Yes. Hey, $100 in 1980 was like $6,000
I
today.
think they got $100 for the date.
Okay. And so that's funny that one guy went to his family's restaurant. So he was like, here's
And he just pocketed it.
here's $100, Dad.
Well, I watched one where a woman who was the back for the second date person at the end of the show.
Okay.
And she said she was the guy. So the guy that the audience chose for her, I guess, was an exotic dancer,
Oh.
a male exotic dancer, because there was also no gay stuff on this show because that wasn't.
Nobody was gay in the 80s. Did
Nobody
you know
was
that?
gay in the 80s. There was a gay joke that I saw in there though.
What'd they say?
I hope he dies of AIDS or something like that.
What was the setup to that?
It was, what did you think of Tom? No, somebody was like, I didn't know if he was not interested or married or gay or what.
And Chuck was like, gay? What's that word?
Yeah.
Gay? I'm at least gay.
I've been with at least 5 guys. So she came back on and she was talking about how she was nervous to meet up with this exotic dancer.
Because they kept playing that game.
Yes, exactly. And so before the date, she went and to take the edge off, bought a bunch of alcohol. So then she didn't have the money for the date anymore. And so she like took him to a really cheap date.
Oh, no.
Because she had like spent it getting drunk before the date. And he was like, yeah, it was like very weird. It was like, it was super cheap. I knew that like the show was paying for this and she's taking me to these shitty cheap places. It was really confusing. Like, da-da-da. And she was like, yeah, I was so nervous. It was awful and blah, blah, blah. And at the end, Chuck's like, so what do you guys say? You want to go on a second date? And the guy goes, all right.
Dude, have a little self-respect. Jeez.
Yeah, sure. It was pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
That's the show. Like I said, it went until 1994. Let me tell you this. According to a press release when the show went off air in 1994,
Yeah.
31 couples had gotten married that met on Love Connection.
Yeah, that makes sense. There were 2,000 episodes.
Right. So out of 4,240 people, or 4,240 first dates, 31 ended in marriage.
Right. So that's a little less than 10%.
And at least 5 children. And
Yeah.
30 of the 31 marriages were Chuck Woolery.
Do you think that Chuck Woolery was just, he was really bad at math? And so he found from a young age, if he said at least 5 for the answer, he's like, I'm never wrong.
It's not wrong. Greater than or equal to. Yeah, and then so in 2017, the show was brought back on Fox for 2 seasons.
Mm.
And it was hosted by Andy Cohen this time, who
Is at least gay.
is at least gay.
Yeah.
He hosts Watch What Happens Live on the Bravo network evenings at 11 o'clock or something like that.
Okay.
He's also a big producer. Like he basically runs the Bravo network from what I can tell. Like all of the Real Housewives and those types of shows, Shaws of Sunset or whatever.
Sure.
I think is a producer on all those, and so he's always like the reunion host man.
Right.
But he hosted Love Connection. And this was 2017, so this is a more progressive version of Love Connection. We have homosexuals.
Yes.
We have black people dating white people.
No.
What?
What? Yes.
It was more inclusive.
Yeah.
It was more reflective of our current values as a society. People went on a date to like storm the Capitol together. And
they got married in jail.
That was one
Isn't
of
cool?
one of the 31. So they changed it up a little bit. In this one, the people went on dates with all three.
Okay.
And then they had to give like a 1 to 10 score. And the audience also gave a 1 to 10 score. But they got $500 instead of $100 for the date. What do you think about that?
That's a crazy date.
Good date, right?
I mean, that's 3 hours at a state fair.
This all goes back to one date you had, or one girl that you dated twice. 3 times. Sorry, I forgot that the sex date turned into the
cookie
Oreo
eating
date.
contest. Correct.
Yeah.
So $500. What would you do with $500 on a date if you went on a first date with somebody? Where are you going?
I guess I'm buying a PS5 and taking them to McDonald's or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good date.
I thought that girl had a good idea on the one episode. That's what I'm saying, basically.
Spend it all on
So
yourself.
I have a quick question that just occurred to me.
Yeah.
So going back to a previous episode, but a thing that we've discussed 50 times on this episode so far now, when you went on a third date with a woman,
Yeah.
and you planned that date to be a cookie eating contest in which you brought an entire box of Oreos
Correct.
to see who could eat the most cookies in. What was the time limit, first of all? Do you remember?
It was like 5 minutes.
Okay. So the real question that everybody at home wants to know:
Yeah.
double stuff or regular Oreos?
No, single stuff. I'm not a crazy person.
You can't eat that many double stuffs.
No.
What if you are eating Oreos just to eat an Oreo?
Mm-hmm.
Double stuff or regular?
Double stuff.
Okay, thank you. At least you're a fucking regular human being.
That's why I said I'm not a crazy person.
Yeah, I got mad because my wife was like, "I got you a gift, Oreos," and it was single stuff, and I was like, "Get this fucking out of my face!"
Can't you just make a double stuff by opening up?
But then
two?
I waste half the Oreos, or twice as many Oreos per Oreo.
No, you keep all the shells, you grind them up, and you make like a shake, and you sprinkle them on top.
Ooh.
Or you make a pie and use it as the crust.
All right, welcome to our new cooking podcast.
Yes.
Because I'm into all of these ideas right
Yes,
here.
dude.
But then I do only get half the Oreos per bag in that scenario.
That's really hard for you.
That's tough.
I can feel
That's
your
tough.
pain.
That's tough. Yeah.
I think Erica should take a lesson from this and never buy you gifts.
That's probably fair. That's probably very reasonable. Also, it wasn't a gift for me. She just bought Oreos at the store and then she wanted to frame it as she got something for me.
So she's smart.
Yeah, exactly. I do it all the time. Like when I bought her that Xbox.
How did you frame that as it was for her?
Oh, I remember you loved.
You can watch all your stories on this.
Yeah, it's got Watch What Happens Live app.
Cool.
So yeah, Love Connection. I want to know what was. You've been on dates with people before, right?
Yeah. At least 5.
Yeah, at least 5. I think you've been on dates with more people than me. I got married at a younger age than you did.
Yeah.
What is the worst first date that you've ever had?
Okay. So the worst.
And hold on, we also have that date in this backstage, and we're gonna ask her about it too.
Okay. All right. Wow. I went to Pocket Sandwich Theater.
Pocket Sandwich Theater. Explain what that is to
It
the
is a
people at home.
local theater that puts on like amateur shows.
Okay.
and you are allowed to throw popcorn. It's kind of their thing. They give you a little tub of popcorn, a little boat of it, and you get to throw it at the stage at the villain.
Okay.
And
What'd you see? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember what it was. But the entire date, the girl talked about how her boss had ordered a small Trump statue
Okay.
and put it on his desk, and the whole time was like, can you believe that? Can you believe how somebody would? And then she talked about how bad Trump was, and this was the entire show. And
Like during the play?
no, not during the play,
Like
but before and
okay.
after. And I didn't give her the reaction she was expecting, which was, oh yeah, oh that's, oh God, yes, oh what an idiot. So she, I think, made assumptions and did not enjoy our time together because we couldn't just shit on Trump the entire time.
Why would you go on a date then? If you weren't going to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't had any like horrible first dates.
What did the audience think? Was she was a good pick or?
Yeah. So the girl next to me is the one they chose. And I was like,
damn.
yeah, I'll go with this girl.
Yeah. So that was not a great first date.
No, I mean, what do you suppose? You can't, we didn't talk about each other at all. She just was obsessed with her boss that,
No, she talked about what her personality was all about.
I mean, yeah, she did. and I also made my assumptions on my end.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not going to be a match. I think you have a thing for your boss, to be honest with you. And maybe you should explore that.
How was the play though?
The play was fun.
All right.
Pocket Sandwich Theater it's good. It's a fun time. And anytime you get to throw food legally, I mean, I didn't get in any food fights when I was a child. So I like to kind of relive and recapture some of those lost opportunities.
Smart.
I bring my own food, and I'm not allowed at the Pocket Sandwich Theater anymore because I brought a pocket sandwich, and they told me that was not allowed. And I said, it's in your fucking name.
That is a bit confusing.
Right.
So, also going back to the church camp where the girl said she would give you your first kiss.
Okay, that was my worst first date.
and you obsessed over it and ruined it, and then she never wanted to kiss you or talk to you
Correct.
again?
No, we talked sparingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
One time, well, sorry, this is a detour. One time I went to a church camp with my friend at...
Didn't you say you had never been to church camp?
Did I?
At the beginning of this episode.
Well, I went once, all right?
Okay, all right.
I went to my friend's church camp with him.
Okay.
This was in like, I don't know, 13 years old, 14 years old.
So you're in Texas at this point?
Yes. I don't think church camps were in New York. So we went to this church camp, and there was some girl there that, lived in a different city or something. And we, hit it off, if you will. And this was, before, cell phones and all that stuff. And so I just remember exchanging addresses. And I found, like, not that long, and by not that long, I mean, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 years ago, in, like, the bottom of my dresser drawer at my parents' house, like, a letter that she had written me that included, like, like her school photo or whatever, like a picture of her.
You got your first nudie pic.
No, not at all.
Was she clothed in her school picture?
No, she went to a nudist school. Yeah, so I remember that we didn't play nervous or anything like that, but she did send me a letter and a photo.
Had you sent her anything?
I don't remember.
Wow.
Probably not. I kind of had like chicks from all over sending me letters, so
yeah,
I had to
with
be
school
I had to be
photos.
selective.
Thank God you don't
But
have
with
that in your
school
house
photos.
now, because
I hope I do.
I think the cops would be
I hope
knocking on
I
your
hope it's
door.
still somewhere.
Why do you have this letter from this girl?
But yeah, sorry. Going back to your church camp, I was just wondering, was this the same camp that the girl wouldn't kiss you at because you were weird? Was that the same camp that you also told everybody that you were dead and you were a ghost?
No, that was
Since we're
my
still
fifth,
around.
that was my 5th grade trip to Camp
You're
Clausen.
still around Halloween.
That
I
was my
thought
5th
maybe.
grade trip to Camp Clausen.
Was the church camp after that? Were you older?
Yes,
You were
yeah.
older than 30? You know,
Yeah, I was.
and you never kissed a girl yet? You fucking loser.
No, I had not. My first kiss was 16.
Wow. Like,
16 years old.
was that at playing Spin the Bottle at
Or
a
15
at a
maybe.
high school?
No, it was at
play
orchestra
cast
camp.
party?
It was at orchestra camp.
orchestra camp.
Yep.
How to compare and contrast to church camp?
Church camp is more fun because you don't have to wake up and practice for 4 hours a day.
Okay,
Yeah,
you just have to wake up and pray.
for 4 hours a day.
Okay,
Yeah, to the
Allah
north,
or whatever.
to the north, or to the east.
west. That's where Allah is, right?
Is he always in
No,
the
he's
west?
our east. Yeah,
Okay.
right.
I don't know.
Don't you pray towards like?
Hold on, I have the fucking.
Quran.
Yeah, I do have the Quran in here somewhere.
Don't you pray towards? I don't know, fucking Bethlehem or whatever. No, that's where
The
Jesus
Promised Land.
was.
That's Jesus.
You know where they're fighting over there.
Yeah. Oh, so you just pray towards the
I
Middle
think.
East.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
So it's east for us and it's west for Russians.
What's it called? Like Jerusalem? I know that's a place.
You've said that twice now.
No, I said Bethlehem.
Oh,
the first time.
I don't know, dude. Let me find the Quran.
Which page is it on where they say where you pray to? I think you're supposed to pray towards like Allah is in the desert over there or whatever.
He's hanging out in the desert.
Yeah. You know how he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't that was the only church camp experience that I ever had.
Sounds about right. Church camp is
We played paintball.
okay. That's awesome. We didn't do that.
Yeah, God was kind of works in mysterious ways in that he wants you to play paintball in his name. I think they were training us for like a new crusades.
Oh man.
But
They towards Mecca.
Mecca, that's what the word I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you go on a pilgrimage there as well.
Cause what?
You go on a pilgrimage there.
Oh, okay.
Like I went to Egypt
Mm-hmm.
and I had like a tour guide that was like
And you ate a whole bunch of local Egyptian food, right? You didn't just go to
I did,
American. Oh, okay.
I did go to KFC, but I also
Yeah.
because it overlooked the pyramids and there's a light show at the pyramids that you can see from the balcony of the KFC.
If anybody hasn't been to the pyramids, that sentence should tell you exactly what that setting is like. He ate at a KFC which overlooked the pyramids.
Yeah, because listen, you see pictures of the pyramids in books on the internet and they're just in the middle of a desert.
Right. Where Allah is.
But if you just if you just turn the camera the other way, 3 feet away is just a massive city. Just a huge city right on the backside of that camera that you're looking at there.
Wow.
It's a real optical illusion. There's desert in one direction behind them, and then there's a shit ton of civilization and and all the trappings of it right on the other side. And I mean literally across the street. You could literally stand in a KFC and like
Throw a piece of chicken and hit the pyramids.
close. Like it's not very far at all.
Okay.
But we had a tour guide that worked at like the University of Cairo as an Egyptologist.
So just a guy that knows about his home country.
Basically, I'm an Americanologist.
I was gonna say, do we have Americanologists
Yeah.
here? Jeez.
Well, the problem is all of our history is like recorded, so you don't have to like learn it. Like we're not like, I wonder what Benjamin Franklin did. We're like, I just read all these books that he fucking wrote about what he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas like in Egypt, stuff happened 8,000 years ago, and where like somebody like stubs their toe in the desert one day, and they're like, "What's this?" And then they dig it up, and they're like, "Holy shit! Look at this fucking tomb or
You're
whatever."
telling me someone stubbed their toe on the Sphinx before they dug it out?
Yeah. Did you
That's
know
why it broke its nose.
they used to think that the Sphinx was just a head. They didn't know that there was all that other stuff below it until one day they like dug and they were like, "Holy, there's a fucking like he's a lion? What the fuck? Why is his head on a lion?" They didn't know, and I'm being serious.
So they had to go in and change all the books? that
Yeah,
they
they're
had
like, oh, fuck, dude. We're the Egyptologists. Get them in here. We got to update these books. But anyway, this guy, he lived in Egypt, and he said that he went on the pilgrimage to Mecca, and it's just like you straight up fucking walk there. You walk there from wherever you are. Like Egypt is, I mean, compared to me, Egypt is close to Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still far enough that I'm very not interested in walking there, especially given the climate. And I don't mean the political climate.
I don't want to walk and be stubbing my toe every 4 feet and responsible for being...
You're like, oh my God, I just discovered something else.
Shit, dude. Oh my... The Sphinx is on stilts? It's a lion on stilts?
What if there is more that we don't know about yet underneath there?
So there's like a guy that's the director of these digs, and so what? He's just like, that's good enough. No, that's the...
Well, I think the head was still there, and they just assumed like, yep, here's where they made that head statue in the desert next to the Giza pyramids.
It's our Easter Island.
Exactly, but it's fun. Like you like joke about that stuff, but when I was in Rome, where they also have a lot of old shit. They were saying that because of the amount of money that it costs to excavate all of these sites and preserve all the stuff, they would routinely like find something buried under the ground and be like, hey, we found this thing. It looks like there's like a fucking building here or something. Can we dig it up? And the government's like, we don't have money for that. And they'd be like, okay, well, just know it's here. And then they would just put the dirt back on top of it because the earth is going to preserve it better than if they like left it exposed.
Wow.
And that's like a routine thing where they're like, we don't have the money for that right now. We've got to just leave it buried here.
So there is a part in the Rome budget that is just digging shit up. Wow.
Yeah, I went to like a church, like a medieval church
camp.
Rome.
You went to another church camp,
a medieval church camp in Rome, and it was like when the time period that I was there, it was like this place is open from March to October of this year, and then it's going away because like we don't have the money to keep like preserving this and like let people walk through here and make it not collapse or whatever.
Hey, here's an idea. Throw up a gift shop.
You know what?
Make some money.
It might have worked. And that place was interesting because you know that guy who you remember Hitler?
Mm-hmm.
So there was this guy in Italy called Mussolini. He was kind of like
the Italian Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler with a funnier accent. Because Hitler had a scary accent.
Yeah, I agree.
Mussolini had a funnier accent. So he perceived like, these guys get off on like strength. Like they really just like jerk off on being strong. And so he perceived like, when Caesar was the ruler of Rome and stuff, that time was like all great and everything. Mm-hmm. And then when the Renaissance happened and like Leonardo was just like carving out naked ladies out of stone and shit, and some dudes with big hung dicks. That was also a good time of strength for Italy. But like the medieval period or the Middle Ages, kind of where just like nothing happened in the fucking
just
world.
Just lots of torture.
Where we just like turned off the lights for 600 years.
Yeah.
He perceived that as like, fuck that. Yeah, no, we were not cool then. That was some pussy ass shit we were doing then.
Yeah.
So he had everything that still existed from the Middle Ages in Italy destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if there were buildings that were 1,200 years old, he'd be like, fuck that, that's stupid, kill it.
Yeah.
And they would just burn them all to the ground and all the artifacts and art, destroy them and everything. Right. But this church that was this medieval church, there was like, before Mussolini was in power or whatever, there was like an earthquake and it got buried, so he didn't know about it. So It's like one of the only surviving medieval things in Rome, because like this cockfuck didn't know about it.
Snuck one by him.
Yep.
But honestly, how do you get a phoenix from the ashes?
Whoa.
So he was just trying to progress
He was trying to
forward quicker.
Firebirds.
Yeah.
I really
I'm sorry, do you
struggle.
not think Firebirds are cool?
They are cool. You're
Yeah.
right. That Mussolini had some good ideas after all. Yeah. So Love Connection. How would you make it better?
Oh, so this is so simple.
Uh-huh.
So, first part, you have all three contestants there all three daters there with the contestant.
And you have to tell them why specifically you didn't pick them.
No.
Okay.
You have the camera crew follow them as they go through different dating scenarios.
Like dates, you mean?
And the host is Roger Lodge.
Who's Roger Lodge?
And they call it Blind Date.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying here.
Mhm.
Is that the host of Blind Date?
Yeah. So this should make it better is
Make it Blind Date.
Make it Blind
the
Date.
show Blind Date.
right. You and I know from doing improv and sketches,
Uh-huh.
audiences don't relate to sketches or improv scenes that talk about things that happened in the past. Nobody cares.
You wanna
show
see it?
us the action so we can
wanna
see
see
the story develop ourselves.
So like you would want to see this guy, this 3-time divorce guy, just going to the hotel room and like just banging it out with this chick for a couple hours, then going to dinner, then going back to the hotel room and banging it out again.
I don't always want to see that, but if that was one of the episodes that happened, I would watch it.
I would DVR it.
I would watch it. I would TiVo it.
See, I want them to have to confront all three of them and explain in detail why they didn't choose the other two.
Okay. And then the audience has to tell them why they didn't choose the other two.
Yeah, exactly.
Or which
You have
two
to-
they did.
The audience has to elect a representative to speak on their behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think this was very good.
Mm-mm.
It's pretty crazy that this lasted for so long. 2,120 episodes to be exact.
I think it just goes to show you that our society just loves voyeurism. And
But we're not even getting the real voyeurism from
but
them.
we're still getting part of it.
Yeah, we're getting secondhand voyeurism.
This was reality TV before reality TV existed.
That is true. That's basically what this was. We get behind the scenes of a couple's first date that was kind of foisted upon them because they only had 3 choices for their first date.
Yeah.
This was Tinder with a more limited scope.
Yeah. This is like you log on to Tinder and you get 3 matches a day. And it's either...
By the way, that girl you went to the Pocket Sandwich Theater with, did you meet her on Tinder?
Bumble or something.
So you like chatted beforehand.
Or Hinge, maybe.
And so you had conversed over the internet and seemed like
Yeah,
you
but...
might like each other, but then you didn't.
Well, here's the thing with that. In order to get a date on those sites, you had to move quickly. So you establish
You got to snatch
sense of
them up before somebody
humor.
else
You
does.
say, this app, I hate using this app. Can I just get your number? Or I'd rather text. You text and you get the date quickly. Because you had a very small window of these girls.
Interest?
Yeah, I guess.
Expiration date? They're getting too old?
No.
Overripe?
No. I'm just saying you had a small window to get a date. So there wasn't a lot of back and forth and getting to know this person. It was, we'll do that on the day.
Because if they get to know you too well, they're going to be turned off and not want to go on the date.
I don't know. I was a great person. I am a
You
great
were.
person.
Do you think we could do a dating advice podcast?
No.
Why not?
I don't. You just said I haven't been on a lot of dates. I got married early.
Yeah.
Okay. And you think I should be giving dating advice?
Well, I could do it also.
My dating advice would be the same.
Just like find one and marry her when you're 25.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Oh, then why didn't you do that?
Well, because this worked out better for me, and I went on a whole bunch of bad dates. I couldn't find
You
one.
have better stories for the podcast, and I appreciate that.
I couldn't find
I appreciate
one.
your sacrifice. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5 buzzers.
I'm gonna do the same.
Wow, copycat. Fucking have an original thought.
1 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 1 out of 5 connections.
Ooh. I don't know. I'm just going to give it 1 out of 5 buzzers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Love Connection. You can't really watch it anywhere. I think you can find some of the Andy Cohen ones that are more watchable, on like the Fox app maybe. But again, that was still like 3 years ago, so I don't know. You can watch a bunch of these other episodes on YouTube if you have interest. I would maybe just like watch some funny highlight videos. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's some funny highlight videos out there.
Yeah. This is a highlight
If you're
show.
interested, watch those. Don't watch a whole episode.
Don't do it.
It'll
to
make you
yourself.
uncomfortable.
We did it for you.
For you. We
sacrificed.
Listen, we're titling this on YouTube. We watched Love Connection, so you don't have to, so we can get some fucking clicks. All right.
Yeah.
All right. This has been an episode of Come On Down, the game show podcast. Check us out on, social. Just listen or watch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. That's all I ask.
That's all I ask.
And tell every single person you know. The only thing I ask, tell every single person you know.
right. And
to
leave
watch
us a
or listen.
review on the podcast listening.
Because Steve Jobs pays attention to those, and that's how we get up on the list.
Yeah. And he is a ghost. Halloween. Spooky.
Nice. And so is Montney.
I am I am a ghost. So what happens is God from heaven sends your soul down, and if your soul gets blocked on the way down,
Chicks will not kiss you.
you This is what I was saying to her. I told her my ghost story, and I think
she
she
didn't understand.
didn't want to kiss a ghost, and I get it.
Oh, what about what don't you lean in for a kiss? Fuck. Man, I really ruined this joke.
No.
I had a good one.
Okay.
And you lean into her ear and you go, "Can I keep you?"
Can I keep you?
Yeah, because in the movie Casper the Friendly Ghost, starring Christina Ricci, when Casper goes to her school dance with her, they're dancing and he leans in and whispers in her ear, "Can I keep you?"
That's some John Wayne Gacy shit right there.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya. Thanks for coming to our podcast or our game show.